Okay. Are we ready to go?
Ready with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, in the absence of the chair, Mr. Boswell asked me if I would go ahead and chair the meeting, and so I would welcome everybody here, call the meeting to order. And I guess first thing would be roll call, Mr. Boswell.
Dr. White,
Here.
Mr. Wilson,
Here.
Mr. Bradley,
Here.
Mr. Vittle.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Approval of the minutes. Are there any corrections, changes?
I move we approve. I'll second that.
I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, or I guess roll call.
Dr. White, Mr. Wilson,
Aye.
Mr. Bradley,
Aye.
Mr. Vittle.
Aye. Public comment? Is anyone from the public that wants to address the planning commission? Hearing none, we'll move on to the certificate of appropriateness application for McDonald's. Teresa Simmons, McDonald's USA.
So what do you need me to do here?
Just give a little overview of what you're gonna be doing. They've already got the packet in front of them. They've had a week to take a look at the exterior changes that are proposed.
So McDonald's is in the process, I know you've seen it in the other store in town that they already did first. They are updating their brand everywhere in the whole country. Every McDonald's is being touched, interior and exterior, to just a more modern environment, which includes removal of all the mansard roofs. The McDonald's we grew up with are all gonna be gone. So you can see the pictures of the existing McDonald's with that red roof. It's gonna be a thing of the past. And the new look is just more updated, less colors, just a little cleaner and modern. This store has the big Play Place box on the front, so you know, it's just a more open, very nice looking building. These are a little off because that building is unique. There's a sunroom on the side that they're gonna remove as part of the exterior work. And then the rest of the exterior work for the site is really to address ADA compliance. So the ADA parking stalls were done a couple years ago, but they used to allow us to connect the ADA parking, go behind the stalls to get over to a ramp to go up to the building, and that's not allowed anymore. So we had to bring the front sidewalk out a little bit so that you just go forward to the building. So that, but the ADA parking itself was good for slope. And then the biggest thing is there is public sidewalk out there, and ADA requires us to connect to the public sidewalk. So it goes all along the front, and it wraps that corner, and so I know you guys all drive by that probably every day. It's a very steep site for ADA compliance. So this is the best route that we found to get over to the building where we can maintain the slopes that are required for ADA. But that, as far as the, you know, the building's not getting bigger, it's not moving in any direction. The basic parking lot layout is staying the same. So that's it for the exterior. For the interior, big changes on the interior. They're going to a kiosk ordering system on the inside where you know, the kids don't want to talk to anybody these days, and you know, and order food. And so just like Panera and all the places like that, it's a kiosk that you can walk up. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can just make your order, and then you can actually grab a number and go to your table, and they'll bring it to you. So because they're bringing the food out to you, the front counters had to be split in order to bring the food out from the kitchen. So the front counter is being replaced, the kiosks are being installed, all the decor will be updated on the interior. And if the restrooms were found to be anything for ADA, then they get updated too for ADA compliance. Any kind of structural is done because of that. Essentially, the kitchen doesn't really get touched at all. They'll build a barrier wall in between the kitchen, and the drive-through stays open during most of the work. So if it closes, it's only for a couple days, unless the operator makes the choice to close it. I don't know if this one will. If they do choose to close it, the construction goes a lot faster. But typically, they've been staying open, and it's about 5 to 6 weeks they'll be done. It's a pretty quick build. Did I get everything?
Will it be staying open during the?
Yes, they keep the drive-through open, and that's why they build the barrier wall on the inside. Right behind where that front counter's going in, they'll build a whole solid wall with a door,
Yes.
and it's just to keep construction dust and everything out of the kitchen. But typically, yeah, they stay open, and, you know, we're not doing anything to the utilities, so there's no sewer work, there's no water, it's all staying the same, so we don't really have to close down for
Except
any
for that
reason.
one little bit of demolition, it's pretty much just powder and paint stuff.
On the inside, yeah, the whole thing, floor to ceiling, everything goes.
Exterior too.
Yeah, the exteriors, you know, the finish on the main building stays, but all that mansard roof goes, and then they build up the mansard roof again, and,
Roof is whole different.
yeah, and then paint it, and then it's all new, the canopies, that are over the windows and over the doors, they're just cleaner looking, the lights are up in the canopies, so it's just, you know, just for your eye, it's very clean to look at the new buildings. But once again, you have one already. So, you got one.
Your name, are you,
I'm Kristen Lang from Britt Peters, and we do the civil work for McDonald's. We do the site work for them.
okay, are you aware of our entrance corridor?
Yes,
You know, this fits nothing
it fits nothing.
in the entrance corridor. We've even held Holiday Inn and other across the street going in over there
Mhm.
to a standard that, try and fit in. I mean, this is something that would be anywhere in America. And, you know, we purposely passed, the town council did several years ago, an entrance corridor where it's a nice looking building, but in the entrance corridor to a historic town, I don't think it fits our descriptions of being appropriate. It's, you know, it would take a little work in addition, but I think some changes to the exterior would make it, but I mean, it does not fit the entrance corridor plans at all to have a brand new, modern, glass, gray building sitting on a very high hill or a very prominent spot. That is just
Are
my
those like,
opinion.
are they metal panels or something, like, do you know?
The
I
white,
can't read on this is not legible, but
oh, you know what I'm
like
talking
where
about.
the McDonald's symbol is, that finish is, it looks like it's some kind of metal panels, like. But I don't-
Where the M is, where the yellow M is?
That whole gray side. I mean, it's not brick or anything.
Yeah, where the cursor is on it.
Right there, that's, it's tile. It's a Euro West tile, I think. Let's see.
I mean, I know it's on the plan, I just can't, it's not
Yeah.
legible on my copy, so I can't tell what it says. I was just curious if it's something, you know, where a color change could be easily.
No, it's
made.
stucco. It's stucco.
It's stucco, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
It's
That
painted
would be
stucco,
nothing to
is
change
what
the
that
color
is.
of that. But I mean, we even,
Yeah.
the McDonald's, Holiday Inn, even added some stonework.
Well, that's
Of
what
the
they're getting
saw.
away from. That's what the older buildings are stone, and that's what they're getting away from. You know, they're branded buildings for a reason. They want brand recognition through their buildings.
It
You know,
looks,
I like to think we're a branded town. You and our brands are in conflict here, I think, that it's,
It looks way better though than what's there now. I mean, what's there now, talking about not fitting in, is really, I mean, you're talking, I guess and Jason maybe knows that for the entrance corridor, it's like colonial or something, is that what they're?
It's architectural
basically-
style, traditional tag.
So they're like a red brick, basically, some kind of brick to.
Breaker style.
So when you come up through there now, you've got a Hardee's that was renovated not too long ago, is that correct? And then you got a Wendy's that was renovated probably within the last year. What else is on there?
McDonald's at
Taco
exit 14.
Bell.
Taco Bell, McDonald's at exit 14.
I mean, and none of it, and what's that thing next to Kroger's, the Shoney's? Like, none of that stuff. Cause you have a
it's
remote.
brick, and it's, doesn't look as stark as this. I mean, this is, I see what McDonald's is trying to do, but McDonald's, I know this, throughout the country, they will change their architectural plans to meet historic districts, to meet
Well, that's true.
entrance corridors,
Yeah,
to,
I've seen a bunch.
go to Hilton Head, even their signage.
Yeah.
Even,
And Asheville is, there's one in Asheville that resembles no McDonald's in the world.
Yeah, Annapolis, like I said, is in an old brick building.
I think we'd like to see something a little more in keeping with the town's historic background, historic.
So what are the exact requirements?
Is this corporate owned?
Jason, you got any?
No, there's an operator, but this is not a high volume store, and, I know they're not willing to put, you know, if this was some crazy store, you know, I think they would, but this is already a low volume store that,
I don't think what we were looking for necessarily would cost that much more, if anything. Unless they, you know, they've just gotten a big, you know, this design is just you all mentioned the word around here, a boilerplate stamp for what they're up to. But, we've certainly held other people accountable. I mean, it doesn't, all we're asking for is just to pay, I mean, it doesn't have to be colonial, but to make it look a little bit, I'm groping for a word here, that you have paid some homage to the town and to its historical character.
Appropriate is the word,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, this is something, there's no other building in town like this, and I think, I don't know how the one out there on the west end got by, but I mean, this will be a most unique design. And we are, in our entrance corridors, I do not think this is what we're after, is 21st century designs. And it wouldn't take much, yeah, I don't mind the glass and all that, but all that gray, I mean, it looks like an office building or perhaps even a prison somewhere. It's a big gray, nondescript building. I mean, change of colors, add a facade of brick or,
Well,
we're not having a full course of brick, but a
Like a
stone or,
talented architect may able to just do a subtle color shift and then have it make it look like it's got coins or something on the corners.
Yeah, just-
I don't know. And I don't know how this works if they have a lot of like prototypes that of other finishes that they do, but some stores they can just roll out whole pallets of it, and they're similar looking, they just use the finish over it. Like the majority of it's the same, it's just the color, color.
there's really two main color schemes they're doing now. It's this one, the gray, and then, a browner one. But that's the only two that I've seen
what are they gonna
lately.
do with, let's say, the store in Asheville?
With,
I
That
guarantee
doesn't-
Ashland won't allow them to stick this building up.
I'm not sure, I can't,
Well,
if you're
I
talking
think
about the
I
one
know
in
the
Biltmore,
answer.
I mean,
It's
that's,
right
yeah.
outside of Biltmore, yeah.
Yeah, it's out, it's, you know, there's a lot of
Just-
reasons they do things.
Can
It
you
could
get
be
it
a
up
high
on the
volume
screen?
store, it could be,
McDonald's Ashland,
Well, that one has chandeliers and stuff.
yeah, everybody wants that.
well, I mean, I'm not, that's the interior, you know. But the exterior, I mean, this is just so, I know we had this issue, I don't know who was on the planning commission when Walgreens wanted to come down here. And they kinda wanted to do the same thing, and we told them they couldn't do it, and they said, well, we don't have a plan, Walgreens then won't do it at all. And the next meeting, they showed up and said, here's our new plan, and it fits. So I know these companies have to
See, there's,
accommodate local.
I mean, I'm just looking online and there's brick ones, there's some ones with river stone.
Yeah, that's what they're
SQs.
phasing out, though. The stone where that arcade is, used to be stone. And I don't know if they've had problems with it, but they're trying to get rid of that. So the requirements are in the ordinance there? Is that what you were pulling up before?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, they're specific that I can give to the,
Yes, I can email it to you. I've got the,
oh, I can find it. I just, is it very specific with colors or materials
the
or?
The thing that it always falls back to is trademark buildings and related features, including size. Signs shall be modified to meet the design standards within. And, it sounds as if the commission is asking for something that's more traditional to adding.
I mean, we're not trying to be difficult, and we appreciate the business that McDonald does, but we also have this whole issue that is constantly before us of people wanting to put up buildings as cheaply or as to their standards and not the standards of Abingdon. And if you go to these various historic or niche towns, they control all of their franchises. They, they tell them they cannot. I remember a court case in Pennsylvania 15 years ago. McDonald's bought an old house, old Victorian house, and applied for a permit to tear it down. And they said, no, you don't. And McDonald's appealed all the way to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court and lost. And lo and behold, McDonald's suddenly found an architect, and they designed a drive around through. They kept the house. And the next year, they were advertising all around the country. Look how we work with communities. And so it can be done. I don't know, and that's why Scott or someone asked, is this a company owned or if it's a private?
Yeah, I was just curious, and now you said you represent the civil. Okay, so the architect's not under your umbrella at all, you're just site, basically. site
Correct,
that.
yeah. The architect works for McDonald's directly.
Gotcha, okay. I just wondered if they have any, because they have to run across this situation
Yes.
occasionally. I just wonder if that architect has anything or any situation they run into the same where they just already have some kind of a sketch or something. That, I understand it's an existing building, we can't just, knock it down and build a new one, but there may be a way to kind of wrap the box, as we say in architecture, to make it look a tad bit different.
I know because it's a low volume store that they're, we're doing minimal site work, we're doing,
Do you
So
know?
I don't know how much they're willing to invest.
Do you know what, I mean, like when you say low volume, is there like a technical definition or it's just
There is,
underperforming?
yeah, they have different levels with the stores for.
Is it,
the-
so, cause I would expect
Yeah.
an average McDonald's to do like 2 million in sales a year, so you're
I
saying
don't
it's-
know exactly, I just know that, I know by the architect that it is a low volume
Okay.
store. And, you know, we don't do, there's no extras done with
Yeah.
the low volume stores because it doesn't warrant it with the, you know, they're not gonna make it back,
Right.
their money.
Well, I hate to bring this up again, but we did with Holiday Inn, make them 3 months ago,
Sure.
go from design something similar to that, till they came back, they went to their architect and came back the next meeting, and at least put a little stonework, a little brickwork, a little architectural features to it, coins or whatever, I mean, that would be up.
They,
And we're not trying to be hard about that.
Yeah, they didn't
Look
go
at
back
that,
to
that
it.
has no, that's anywhere in America.
So are there other examples down in the corridor that I can take pictures of, is what you're saying, so I can send to them? Down in the area of the McDonald's?
Jason probably can share with you, the Holiday Inn plans or something like that, you can have a look at those.
No, I mean, is it on the way out of
All the
town?
buildings going into the new, park and sports complex have had to meet architectural standards too.
Okay, but fast food restaurants down by the McDonald's, there's examples down there?
Probably, I guess the newest one on Cummings is Captain D's, that came before the board. But I'm not sure, I mean, it's got some stonework on it, some brickwork. But you have to get off of, Cummings to go on Townsend Drive, go that way to really look at it.
Okay,
That's the closest one that I can think that you could take a look at.
okay. I can do that.
But I'd be more than happy to share, you know, some drawings with you to kind of get a.
Well, I just have to send it back to the architects and see what, you know, what they can do. You know, the McDonald's isn't, contrary to the Biltmores in the world, they are not, you know, they want brand recognition through seeing the building. They don't want, every building is just not gonna be different and unique. They're, you know, they're gonna meet the ordinance and that's what they're gonna do, so.
Or their golden arches of their brand recognition, I mean,
Yeah.
there's nobody in America that when they see the golden arches doesn't know what's there. So, but I would appreciate if you would take it back, I'm speaking just for myself, but I'm not prepared to vote to approve that design.
So shall we table this one and,
And I would like for Mr. Schuman and Mr. Austin to be here also, to our chairman and vice chairman.
I'll move we table this until, the applicant and Jason can get together on appearance of the structure.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to table it.
Dr. White, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Bradley,
Aye.
Mr. Vitten.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Next item of business is application for a certificate of appropriateness, Colonial Square. Owner L.K. Atkinson, representative to subdivide property into 2 parcels, one containing 4.523 acres, one containing 3.205 acres.
Gentlemen, thank you for putting me on the agenda. We have gave Mr. Boswell a preliminary plat and also a final plat. And like the gentleman said, we're trying to divide this into 2 parcels. You know, you're all familiar with where the food line is up there. And the parcel of 4.523 acres will have the food line and some of the parking, the biggest part of the parking. And then the little shops that you know that's to the east of Food Line, we're tearing down one small shop that its corners almost on the northeast corner of Food Line there. That'll be gone, and they're adding 2,000 square foot of retail on the east end of that building. And working the parking, redoing the striping and so forth there for that 2,000 foot of retail on the east end of the shops. And the shops will contain 3.205 acres. And the plat, I don't know where y'all have a plat of this. Oh, there it is. That's the final plat right there. To the west of that line is the food line, and to the right is those shops we're talking about. The two parcels we have. This gentleman, Chris White, it's really Colonial Square AVA LLC. He's out of Point Beach, Florida, and I think the town been sent a letter as far as the sidewalks that they want built between, yeah, there you go. He's agreed to put sidewalks between the east entrance to this shopping center and the west entrance to the shopping center. You know, be two pieces of sidewalk built there to the town specs. We have to do a little bit of grading, not a great deal, and I think the town has agreed to have a, from the back of the curb that's there now, 2.5 feet of grass strip between the back of the curb and the sidewalk. Then a 5-foot concrete sidewalk. And I think it's, 3,000 PSI sidewalk to the town specs. He's agreed to put that in for dividing this into two parcels. And I don't know the reason for dividing this. It may be a corporate exchange or something like that. I'm not privy to information on why they're doing this, you know. But he has agreed to put the sidewalks in between the east and the far west entrance, which is a service entrance up there, all the way over. And yeah, over in that area.
Did we talk about this once before?
We did, the board
And the sidewalk?
unanimously approved the preliminary plat and denied the variance for sidewalk.
So this is a
Took it back.
reconsideration sidewalk?
Yes, sir. And we do have a written statement from
Saw that.
Food Line AVA.
Saw that, appreciate it.
So we've approved everything then. So they're ready to go now.
They're ready to
do
go,
the
we just need an
sidewalks.
approval on the final plat, yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion a second.
Dr. White,
Uh,
Mr. Wilson, Mr. Bradley,
Aye.
Mr. Goodman.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that very much.
This will be on the next council meeting for approval by the town council. Mr. Harris.
Pardon?
It'll have to be read at the next town council meeting.
I
So I'll be
understand.
in contact with you.
Will you notify Mr. White by, or should I, of
How?
approval on his plat?
Either way.
I can give
I
him
think I
email.
got his
I can give him
email.
email. Okay. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Good to see you guys again.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Update from the staff, comprehensive plan.
Oh, comprehensive plan. We've scheduled a community meeting for May 7th at the Small Business Incubator. That meeting will be from 5 to 7. Still working out the details with EPR. Got in contact with Mike today on a personal note. His son has finished his last chemo treatment, so super happy to hear that. So kind of get back on track with what we've got going on with the comp plan. Steering meeting will be the following day, May 8th. Tentative schedule is 8:30 to 12. That may change depending on EPR's timeframe. The second thing I have here is zoning ordinance update. I sent you all a copy of what we've currently got as far as the sign ordinance is concerned. There's a lot of changes in there. Cleaning up a lot of the language, it was just way too wordy. So if you have any comments, if you can give me some feedback on that, what you think about the language, I'd really appreciate it. If you see something in there you don't like, or you don't wanna see, let me know, and we'll go back to Mount Rogers Planning District Commission, we'll have that conversation about changing the language. Also, my lovely assistant made me aware today that our next scheduled meeting in May is Memorial Day, and the office will be closed. So we need to pick another date to have the next planning commission meeting. to suggestions.
We'll just move it up 1 week, forward 1 week. I can bring my calendar.
Yeah, we could, let me see if I can pull up the calendar. We could have it on the 20th. If that's okay
That
with
suit everybody?
the rest of the commission.
Yes.
I'm sure that I'm sure that it is. So we'll go ahead and schedule that for May 20th, and we'll put that on the town website and social media so people will know. And that is all I have, Jim.
Well, the upcoming meeting on May 7th, first public meeting will be a first opportunity for public input on the comprehensive plan. So if you have friends, neighbors, and associates, invite them and urge them to attend. The more people that are involved, the better the plan will.
Yeah, we'll be focusing on the visions and goals section, and systematically we'll be having more community meetings as time goes on.
I just wanna say on that McDonald's, you know, I was looking on my phone for looks and styles of McDonald's, and there's a zillion of them. And there's a lot of them that are the big box like she showed, but they have brick on them, and they look, they're not like that, so I think from her point of view, maybe for this region or something, McDonald's is like, you gotta have this, but on the web, they got everything, so.
And for McDonald's, that McDonald's, the poor mouth. You know, everybody in here, they poor mouth, they can't do these, they can't put in
Oh,
sidewalks.
it's a marginal store.
Oh, it's a marginal store, they're not making any
It's a
money.
One off of
marginal
exit
store.
19.
What do we figure out the
it's county, but
sidewalk,
it
which
still
costs
has
those
brick
developers
work.
$2,200 more to put in the sidewalk? Give me a break.
But it's,
They renovated the one on exit 14, but it didn't look like that. It still had some, it's modern, but there was some stonework and some brick in that design.
And I remember that McDonald's out there came before us 5 or 6 years ago with a sign. They wanted a new big neon sign, and we wouldn't give it to them. And the guy stood there, "You're just ruining my business. You'll drive me into bankruptcy or something." And I was, give me a break. A McDonald's, he's busy constantly, you know, they,
well, if it was such a poor performing store, it wouldn't be open.
No.
I'll tell you that right now.
no. I mean, they don't have, as downtown Richmond or someplace like that, the volume, but I've never gone by there, they didn't have cars, and so I know that, when McDonald's starts poor mouthing, and Walgreens pulled the same thing, we can't build it. They wanted to do, I forgot, they wanted to expand down, and they wanted the stoplight to go straight through into their parking lot. And they said, we can't do it, we just can't do it, and the architect and the builder stormed out of here and came back, must have called your predecessor, and asked if they'd come back with a new plan the next time. And lo and behold, they had a design that fit, and they didn't need to have the, because VDOT had told them they weren't gonna stick that stoplight directly, entrance directly through a stoplight into their
Can you
parking
imagine if
lot.
somebody ran the light
Oh.
going down 19, right through their front
So
door?
it's always, you face them, so, and you watch them, they'll come up with probably
Yeah.
a different, but that thing there was sitting up on that high hill there.
Yeah, it'd take a.
I was on the board of Highlands Union, I fought us for years, trying to get our board to get out of that gray building, that awful thing. I said, what was it, looks like a prison, doesn't look like a bank. So, but it's, I think, and I definitely like to hear Mr. Schuman, I'm sure he has some appropriate comments, so.
Any other commissioner comments? On a note, this will be my last meeting with the Abington Planning Commission. I've enjoyed my stay here and the time, and wish you luck as you move forward with these comprehensive plans, zoning update, a lot of things on the plate for the upcoming year.
I
Thank
wish
We
you the
enjoy
best
it.
too.
Yeah, everything goes down.
Are you, where are you going?
Going home and putting my feet up and, well, no, I'm gonna go home and do the honey-do list that my wife has and try retirement the second time.
Well, I had to retire, and after about 3 weeks of honey-do list, I told my wife, I'm going down to McDonald's, and I'm gonna serve hamburgers. I am not gonna sit around and check off your honey-do list, I'm here to tell
You
you.
won't go to work for McDonald's now, Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on the right list.
Oh.
God.
Have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Ah.
Thank you, gentlemen.